up, guys? Oops. Okay, just got to plug the microphone in because it's a bit windy, but it's good to see everybody. Happy Saturday. We are here in South Beach. It's a beautiful night. Oops, let me see. And we'll get started here in just a moment. We'll probably only be on for about an hour, but I want to check out a little bit north of here. Apparently it is Miami Beach Swim Week, and there's a lot of like outdoor activities going on. So let's go ahead up there and check it out. But thank you all for joining. We'll be in South Florida for a few more days. The weather's been perfect. It's not too hot down here, and it's not too humid either. So really excited about that. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful week. Pretty eventful week in the markets. S&P closing at new all-time, or I should say close to new all-time record highs. Inflation coming in line with expectations. I don't think the inflation wave is done just yet. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but big rally day. Now, I know we're not supposed to talk about the markets on Saturdays, but I think this is pretty important. Let's see. Can we focus in on that? So this is a daily chart of the S&P. You can see we came down, tested that 50-day moving average, and had a big rally closing at the high of the day on Friday to end the week positive, and it was on thunder volume. So lots of nice volume is coming in. A little bit of a bifurcated market. Again, we'll talk about that later. But thank you all for joining tonight. And let's go ahead and kick this stream off and enjoy South Beach. All right, cool. Let me just lock up the old Vespa here. And we are off. Starting off by the Abbey Hotel. Lots of nice Art Deco style, which is one of the things I love most about South Beach in general. Hello is here, welcome. Again, it's going to be a shorter than normal stream. We're standing right outside of the main art museum here in South Beach. I see Richard Vogel, Alan. What's going on? Sally, welcome. Doc 7 says the S&P 500's up over 25% in the last 12 months. Yeah, U.S. equities have been performing really well. And it's going to be interesting. And again, I know it's Saturday. We're supposed to kind of have the day off. But one of the things that I'm watching, which I wrote about earlier in one of our newsletters, is that China is really starting to ease now in a major way. We've been covering all the craziness that's been going on in China as it relates to the real estate market. Some could argue that it's worse than 2008 over in China in terms of real estate assets. And in order to combat that, China is really going to start to ease in a major way. So you're going to have quantitative easing in China, and that's going to be very positive for global liquidity. Extremely positive. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. There's a lot of people that are still really negative on this market. But we've been quite optimistic. MTG, what's up? It's really windy though tonight. Across the street you have the Eden Fine Art Gallery. This is 21st Street and Collins Park South. But I want to cross the street and I want to check out what this is all about. It's his 20th anniversary Miami Swim Week. And there seems to be a lot of stuff going on over there. So let's go ahead and check it out. see, I think I may be having some technical issues. Hey, what's up, Zozo Bob? Mary's here. See, I've never even heard of this, honestly. But apparently it is the 20th anniversary of Miami Swim Week here in Miami Beach. Interesting. Oh, Wise Owl is here. Welcome. Now, yesterday and today was, some serious winds. Here you have the main park, the art museum, that very iconic structure. Alley Stars here, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful night in South Beach. And look at these beautiful condos overlooking the ocean too. Collins Avenue has oceanfront condos, hotels, everything is oceanfront, which is great. We'll walk up a little bit more. Now, for those of you who are new here, we'll just kind of quickly review the schedule. Now, Monday through Friday is our original live streams where we cover the day-to-day events of the financial markets. Saturdays are kind of our day off, where we explore different parts of New York City and Miami and kind of just hang out. And Sundays is the markets look ahead stream, where we essentially go day by day, covering all the major events that are going to be happening through the week ahead on Wall Street. I kind of like the color scheme in general of this swim week. Hey, New England Crypto, what's going on? Trust you're well. Hope you're having a good one. Paul says Miami Swim Week is a fashion show. Nice. There was a lot of stuff going on in the design district too. I was riding my Vespa scooter through that neighborhood today. Very, very busy. I want to take a walk past a few of these hotels. Usually we head south. I want to head north today. There's a lot of nice restaurants right on the water, lots of hotels. You'll probably see some pretty cool cars as well. Now tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the crypto bill that President Joe Biden vetoed. I got a lot of kind of questions and comments about exactly what it is, why I think it's a bad thing that he decided to veto that, and we'll talk a little bit later. But essentially speaking, with that veto, it kind of prevents big banks from really getting involved in the crypto asset ecosystem. Now, on one hand, you could say, well, isn't the whole purpose of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trying to replace the traditional banking system? I'd say yes and no. But the reality is we live in a global economy. And if you're an American like me, right, selfishly speaking, we want all of those jobs, all that innovation, all the entrepreneurship to stay in the United States. It's going to go somewhere. And I think with this recent veto, it's just going to push more of that innovation offshore, which is unfortunate. So hopefully by the end of the year, they'll probably come to some sort of a bipartisan agreement on something, hopefully before the election. But we'll do a deep dive into that tomorrow night. Yeah, New England Crypto says Tom, he/they dropped the ball big time. I agree. Hey, Troy Atman says, Tom, what is up? Did you read your Wall Street Journal Barron's newspaper today? Interesting article referring, hiring referrals. No, I didn't read that. About how people are using AI to write their resumes. Interesting. But I'm sure everybody is using ChatGPT to do essentially everything. I can only imagine what it must be like right now to be a college student or a high school student using ChatGPT to write your papers and all that. I mean, I don't even know how that would work. I mean, what an amazing tool at your disposal. Now, I'll make a slight comment, and I know that we do have some educators and teachers who watch Walks on Wall Street. I would highly advise the educators not to demonize these AI tools, right? I know it can be frustrating to say, hey, we want to ban ChatGPT and all this stuff. I think you should work it into the curriculum, right? I think it needs to be taught. I think students should be encouraged to use these tools, or they're going to get left behind. They're going to get left behind. When I was in high school and even in college, I was discouraged from using the internet to do papers and things like that. I think it should be encouraged, but it should be encouraged in a way where the computer's not doing the entire thing, but you work it into the curriculum. And if that happens, the student's going to be more receptive, not to be super combative. So I think we just need to, get with the times and double down on these tools because they're going to be used anyway. I like walking uptown. You have all these beautiful hotels, lots of commercial office space right on the water. It's really beautiful tonight. Love these palm trees too. It's a little windy, so you can kind of see those palms blowing in the breeze. Little Dragon Media says, Thomas, this is a good stream. Thank you so much. Paul McNeely says, banks holding crypto is asking for another Silicon Valley bank fiasco. I don't know, not necessarily, I don't think. I mean, the way it is now, the way it's set up now is the whole reason why they won't hold any of it, because they have to mark it down on their balance sheet, even if they're just having custody for clients. The problem with the Silicon Valley bank fiasco is, and I mean, honestly, they really weren't doing anything quote unquote wrong. It's just that they got caught off sides on a major Fed rate hiking cycle. The Fed raised about 500 basis points in less than 18 months. And since we had that massive quantitative easing event to kind of combat the coronavirus, that caused a speculative mania. And in manias, a lot of money goes into alternative assets and venture capital. So who is the major bank that holds a lot of these venture capitalist money? It's Silicon Valley Bank. So bank deposits, what a lot of people kind of get confused, a bank deposit is a liability to the bank. It's not an asset. And I know that's a little difficult to understand for some people, but it's true. Man, I love this whole layout here. It's gorgeous. But when I deposit money at a bank, that's now a liability to the bank because the bank is now liable to give me that money back. So a bank, since we live in a fractional reserve lending system, they have to do something with that money. They either have to lend it out, they have to try to make a yield on it. So most people, right after the 2008 financial crisis, instead of speculating with the money, they can buy very safe treasuries or government-backed mortgage-backed securities, which is exactly what Silicon Valley Bank did. The problem is they plowed billions of dollars into government-backed mortgage-backed securities when interest rates were pretty much zero. And as we know, there's an inverse correlation in the bond market. As the prices of bonds go up, the yields go down. And as bonds sell off, yields go up. So as the Fed started raising those interest rates, the valuation of those bonds cratered. And a lot of smart people realized this, and they're like, wow, they have a huge mark-to-market loss on their balance sheet. I want all my money back. Now, in order for Silicon Valley Bank to give those depositors their money back, they had to sell their assets. Problem is, when they sold those assets, the assets that they're selling, vis-a-vis the mortgage-backed securities, are worth significantly less now because the interest rate environment changed so much. So I don't know if banks holding crypto assets or custody, right? Having custody of clients' Bitcoin on, at these banks like BNY Mellon, the big, State Streets. I don't know if that would cause another Silicon Valley Bank issue. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe you're right. I think the biggest thing about that veto that I'm not too happy about is it kind of sends the message to the American public and investors in general that this is still too dangerous to really get involved. So I think once you kind of have a stamp of approval from the President of the United States and have a bipartisan bill, both Democrats and Republicans can agree, I mean, that's gonna make the American public a lot more comfortable with this asset class, honestly. Hey, D is here. How are you, D? Doc7 says using AI is basically plagiarism since AI just recaptures. Not really. I mean, if you don't use citations, then I guess. Mimi says, Tom, there needs to be ethics involved in AI. It is not ethical to have creativity and all types of thought taken over. I agree with that. I think that's a pretty good comment. Yeah, I mean, we can't let this run out of hand. I think there needs to be appropriate regulation as it relates to AI and those types of tools. 100%, I agree. Hey, Patrick D says, what's up, Tommy? What's up, Patrick? I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but the camera is shaking a little bit because the wind is so crazy. It's actually blowing the gimbal around a little bit. But that's one of my favorite things to do in Miami, just look at the palms. It's kind of like it relaxes me, honestly. Spencer says, is Nvidia stock going to split? Yeah, I think they announced a 50-to-1 stock split on their earnings report the other week, didn't they? Frank says it was a classic bank run in the end. Oh, totally. As it relates to Silicon Valley Bank, absolutely. And here's the funny thing. Well, it's not funny, but we live in a fractional reserve banking system. So therefore, on a technical sense, all of the banks are insolvent. If everybody that was a client at JP Morgan Chase wanted their money back right now, you would collapse the global financial system. Quite literally. If every client at JP Morgan Chase said, let's collectively come together and just rip all our money out, it's done. Because it's a fractional reserve lending system. Guys, look at how beautiful this is. I'm not sure if you could see that, but these are people kayaking here. Hey, Samuel B says, hey Tom, keep up the great work with your videos. I watch the Miami ones as I work. I'm a lawyer. Wow, Samuel, thank you so much for watching. What kind of law do you practice, if you don't mind me asking? Zozo Bob is our in-house Miami expert. This is Indian Creek, where the Versace killer hid out on his boat. Yikes. Now, one of the things I like about Indian Creek, Zozo Bob, which I think we've talked about before, all of this is elevated seawall. Now, as you come down from North Beach a little bit, you'll notice how the water is literally right on top of the street. But down here, they've elevated that seawall, which is quite nice. Now, just before I started this live broadcast, I actually filmed an entire walking video, like an hour walking video, from North Beach all the way down through Mid Beach to here. And I'm gonna upload that next week. The houses that you're gonna see are freaking unbelievable. They're so beautiful. These mansions just across the water there on Indian Creek Drive. It's really unbelievable. It's amazing. Optimus 17, what's up? Esmeralda is here. Yeah, it really is a beautiful night. And usually when we do these South Beach live streams, we always head south first towards Ocean Drive. Tonight, I kind of wanted to walk north a little bit because I think it's very underexplored, even though it's not like super lively. I think it's quite nice and it's a little bit more relaxing, honestly. Out and about is what I consider a boat for a live stream. I'm honestly not a big boater, which may seem a little bit strange since I'm from Long Island and there's a lot of fishing and stuff on Long Island. I'm just like not a huge fan of boating, honestly. Samuel Beast's private investment funds in New York City help rich people get richer. Can't wait for the Mid Beach video. Oh, very nice. Yeah, ever since I kind of transitioned over into, well, from my career in tech, particularly in tech sales, and now into real estate sales and development, I've been spending a lot more time with lawyers and getting to know, like building relationships with them, getting to, understand the business. Particularly for on the real estate side, the development side. And man, what a tedious job. Especially as it relates to like zoning opinions for different buildings, air rights battles. Just like there's a lot of stuff. So I have a newfound respect for attorneys, particularly real estate attorneys. Look at this. Sirius XM. Let's go down this path a little bit. It kind of looks cool. Looks like we're in the jungle. Now, something that's crazy that I would have never expected, the vast majority of the real estate that I've sold this year, we just put about almost $2 million in parking spaces in contract over the last 2 weeks in parking spaces. So I think there's like maybe a little bit of a niche market in New York City, and I think we've talked about this before, but contacting a lot of parking operators that either own garages or and run valet operations. It's very labor intensive, obviously, because you have to pay the valet parking guys. You have to worry about all the insurance. So it can be very, very laborious. So if you want a way to kind of just cash out on it, what we've been doing, which is like a very, very interesting kind of business model, is condominiumizing the individual spaces. So let's say if a garage has 150 parking spaces, instead of renting that out at $900 to $1,000 a space, this thing is so cool. You can actually go to the city and do a little bit of rezoning to make each individual space an individual deeded condo space. So you buy the space for, you know, $175,000. It has an individual tax lot, so you would just pay the taxes on it. You'd pay the common charges, and then once the sponsor or the owner of the garage is about 70% sold, they kind of wipe their hands with the project. It creates a condo board, and from there, it's just like living in a condo building, but everybody owns their individual space. And this could be, you know, multi-million dollar sellouts. So when I think about kind of the equity business, you know, trading stocks, you know, everybody always talks about trying to find an edge, right? And in the hedge fund business, if everybody's looking at the same idea, it's called crowdedness is the term in the business. You know, that trade is very, very crowded. So is parking spaces like the most sexy thing to do? No, but nobody's doing it. Nobody's looking at it. So by partnering with some of these attorneys who are very, very well versed in zoning, if you can go out there and sign, let's say, 10 exclusive agreements on 8 parking garages, each space is around $150,000 each, 100 spaces per garage, a total sellout at 6%, you're gonna make a few $1 million. So it's crazy. So I have a prediction about New York City's parking market. I think you're gonna see a lot. I think you're gonna see the valet monthly parking slowly but surely go away. It's gonna be hard to find a daily parking garage operator, because many of them are gonna choose to just sell out by just selling each space at, you know, $150 a pop, depending on where it is. Some of the mechanical garages in Tribeca probably go for like $300,000 a spot. It's interesting because not a lot of people want to deal with doing the business anymore, the day-to-day valet, dealing with it. It's interesting. Now, speaking of Miami, I'm new to Miami, relatively new. I've been living here about maybe, 3 years now? I don't really see any parking here. So if you don't live in a single family home, right, where you have a driveway, I know some buildings have parking, but mostly everybody just parks on the street and they just pay, you know, whatever it is, the $3 an hour. So I don't know. I mean, I guess as more people move down here, they're going to need more parking infrastructure. Maybe that could be an interesting business model, just to build garages. Who knows? Jack CW says, hey Tom, can Walgreens turn it around? It's down 70% the last 5 years. I don't know. Does anybody remember a few years ago, Rite Aid? We were covering it on the earnings call, and they said there's been so much damage from the retail shrinkage of just people just shoplifting the store out of business. I feel as if local governments don't crack down on the petty crime, you're not going to have these drugstores to go to anymore in some of these major cities. Some of them will quite literally be shoplifted out of business. So we'll see. Like, as an investor, right, why would I want to invest in something that has that amount of risk with brick and mortar when everything or the trend is online? If you look at many of the brick and mortar establishments that have managed to survive over the last few years, the big common factor is how well were they able to adapt to online. And you're seeing this, you know, we covered Walmart, you know, Walmart's earnings report. And one of the bright spots with Walmart is they've been having a really, really good strategy with their online business. Order online, in-store pickup, you know, Target's kind of faltering on that. So I think whoever can dominate the online e-commerce will continue to do really good. I don't know, I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Anybody have any specific thoughts? No Mikey says, hey Tom, most people don't live in Miami. I think they work or just drive down for events. True. Yeah, I mean, many people live in like Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, North Beach. But if this kind of trend in Miami is real, like everybody moving down here in the cities, and if they want to make downtown Miami like New York City, you're going to need that infrastructure. In a perfect world, Miami will build the infrastructure so well where you won't need to have a car. So I think they should double down on the public transportation. I think they should expand the Metro Mover. And they should make the city a little bit more walkable, which is kind of my, not interpretation of it, but my recommendation, I guess. Hey, JK, what's up? Good to see you. Jim. We'll wait till these cars go. I don't want to risk it. Someone says even Amazon is getting into pharmacy. Yeah, I think there was that notable acquisition called PillPack. This is the Eden Art Gallery in South Beach. Peter says, I think Costco online sales are up 20%, and a lot of it was gold and silver sales. Wow. I heard about that. Like a lot of people are starting to buy physical gold and silver from Costco. I don't think so. New England Crypto says that Manhattan mini storage place publicly traded. I'm not too sure. You can buy some REITs or real estate investment trusts that have significant investments in like self-storage, but I don't really know too much about the business. This is one of my favorite artists down here, everybody. It's called Alec Monopoly. I think this one's my favorite. Oh, look at that. It's an original stock certificate. Oh, cool. So back in the day, way before I was born, you would get those original certificates. Very cool. Man, this wind is really something else. This is like unbelievable wind. It's quite literally pushing me around. The wind, it's wild. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these streams every single day starting at 8:30. Hey, what's up, Dale? Millionth. Just imagine buying Nvidia 10 years ago. I know. Well, apparently one of the things that's been happening is some of the senior engineers and some of the senior employees at Nvidia are so rich now, you know, worth 10, 20, even $100 million because of the stock, that they're quitting and retiring early. So some people think that could actually be a negative thesis for the stock, because some of the super smart employees that helped build Nvidia to what it is, they're so rich that they're just deciding to retire and cash out their options. I mean, God bless them, right? I mean, that's what capitalism is all about. You know, you take a risk, you work at a company, you get equity in the company or stock in the company, and if it does really well and you perform, you get to take advantage and participate in that growth. This looks like an interesting Miami nightlife spot here. I really like the Art Deco. Just the style and the vibe of the buildings. Wow, look at that. All right, let me check the battery because my battery is a tad low. All right, we got a couple more minutes. We'll hang out for a little bit more. It's like the perfect weather tonight too. Minus the wind. So I had a tenant checking in the other day, and I'm showing them around. I'm like, all right, here's your room, here's the key. And literally, right as I'm showing them, I'm like, this is how you operate the lock. And they're like, okay. They take the keys, they put them on the desk, and then they close the door behind them. And I was like looking at them all puzzled. And they're like, okay, how do I open it now? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you open it with the keys that you just locked in the room. And they're like, what? We locked ourselves out? I'm like, yeah, pal, you just locked yourself out. So I had to call a locksmith. And I guess I have this special lock, it's like a smart lock, and they had to drill through the knob to unlock the door. And I went to Home Depot, I changed the doorknob, and the people are like complaining when I changed it because they're like, oh, there's no lock on our door. I'm like, yeah, you're not getting a lock on your door. You're gonna lock the keys in again. And it's gonna cost me another $200. It's like, I don't know, I mean, look, I respect the guests, I respect everybody, but some people are just crazy people that you have to deal with sometimes as tenants. So I'm like, you're not getting a lock on your door. You're gonna get a regular doorknob. So, fingers crossed they don't lock themselves out of my house. Anyway. Literally, I couldn't believe it. They threw the keys in the room and closed the door. And they asked me, how do I unlock it? And I said, you unlock it with the keys you just threw in the room. Anyway. I was dealing with that the other day. We had $200 for the locksmith. Which is actually not bad because for Miami, everything is so overpriced and expensive now. I was expecting like a $500 bill. Look at how nice all these outdoor dining places are here. Little Dragon Media, this is Thomas. That's why I switched from Airbnb to annual rentals. Short term is too many headaches, even if it's a lot of money. I definitely agree with you. So I do Airbnb in kind of the unconventional way. I don't do short term. It's 30-day minimums. So most people that stay at my place, they're staying for like 1, 2, or 3 months. So I have 3 new people there now, and one of them staying for a month, and the others are staying here for their entire internship, for the duration of the internship, which is actually quite encouraging to see because a lot of the summer interns in finance are mostly in New York City. And I actually have this kid, really smart kid, from the University of Virginia that has an internship at Blackstone in downtown Miami. So it's kind of cool to see those summer analyst positions start to make their way down here, which is cool. But what I try to do is put about 10% automatically off the top of whatever revenue it makes into a reserve fund for repairs, for maintenance, because if you're turning over the property that much, even if it's, people are staying there for 30 days plus, that's a lot of turnover. So it's a lot of wear and tear on the property. So I oftentimes have to repaint things. I had to replace like 2 sink sprayers already. What else did I have to do? I have to put in a vent over the stove because there's no vent in my kitchen. And people cook, so the condensation goes to the ceiling and it makes the plaster on the ceiling fall in. So I had to redo that. But yeah, I mean, that's just the business, right? It's good to learn how to deal with tenants. It's just good. It's a good practice for when you do bigger deals. You can, kind of understand just the day-to-day operations, and that's kind of what happens. Wow, this place is always looking really good at night. It's called the Gale Hotel. Has this really cool outdoor dining place. I like the furnishings. I like the landscaping. Really nice. Hey, Jonathan from Florida, what's up? Thanks for joining us. JC, Mr. Crypto himself. We just got some unfortunate news on Friday here in the US. The Biden administration vetoed that bipartisan crypto bill, which is such just a big miss. It's unfortunate, but not to sound super repetitive, but I mean, whoever advised the President of the United States on that should definitely be fired. I don't know who they hired to advise him on that, but Steve Buffalo, this is Hey Tom. They moved the 4th of July fireworks back over the Hudson River. Oh, nice. Well, that's good news. We'll try to live stream it this year. Steve, you were in Miami, right? In Florida. How'd you like it? Are you still here or what? Richard says, do I allow my tenants to smoke? No, absolutely not. I don't think anybody. I think that's standard. You can't smoke anywhere now, not even in hotels. Well, look, I'd say generally, I haven't had any problems, just like minor stuff that comes with being a landlord. Replacing things, fixing things, locksmith stuff, that's all. But that's part of the business, which is definitely not passive, let me tell you that. Hey. Steve says, I was in Tampa and Clearwater for Memorial Day weekend. Clearwater, Florida is awesome. Glad you enjoyed your time over there. Maybe next year you can come to the East Coast over here with us in Miami. Wow, Lux Travel says, hey Tom, at the side of the Gale there is a speakeasy style bar and cocktail club. Let me take a screenshot of that. I'll check that out. Now, have you heard of the Meridian Hotel? Just behind the Meridian Hotel is this really cool spot. It's called the Mini Bar. Have you been there? I've been inside. I mean, I don't drink, but Sometimes I'll go with friends. That is like the coolest vibe ever. If you visit South Beach and you want to go to a really cool spot, check out the mini bar right behind the Meridian Hotel, right on Meridian Avenue and 5th Street, which is really, really cool. All right, everybody, but I just wanted to pop on and say hello. Tonight, my battery is going to conk out. My battery is going to die, but we will be here tomorrow for the full 2 hours of the broadcast. Sunday night for the Markets A Look Ahead stream. If you enjoyed it tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Click the subscribe button if you're new, and we will see you all right back here tomorrow on Walks on Wall Street. Apologies for the very brief stream tonight, but I was out all day. I couldn't really charge my phone. But guys, take care. Sunshine after rain. Dale, O Wise Owl, New England Crypto, Jonathan from Florida, Chinook Winds, Sunshine after rain, out and about, Doc 7, Esteban Lance, Matthew M, Colton Manning, Sarah, Adrian, Spencer, Mary, JK, always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. See you guys right back here tomorrow. Take care.